just going to probably continue disagreeing about new information. And I do know, because I've studied evolution before, and I do know that their explanation on new information is gene duplication, and natural selection acts upon that duplicated gene. But I just say, if you're duplicating, if I'm giving you a second copy of a pre-existing book, there's not really any new information there. And if I start putting typographical errors in that duplicated book, now I just got a messed up copy of the original book. So at the end of the day, I don't see how that's.
But the same thing. It's like you have this book. It's like a green eggs and ham, and again, you take it and you give it to somebody to copy. And they copy it and they make it a typographical error within it. But it gets passed off and it gets copied again and again over a very long period of time. You accumulate enough small errors in this book, and then all of a sudden you started off with green eggs and ham, and now you have the Bible.
Okay, but I mean,
because what's the information that was required? What's the new information? Well, I mean, the basic foundation, the basic building blocks, which in the case of this would be the letters of the alphabet compared to, the different types of DNA, or sorry, whatever. I'm not really sciencey. The four amino acids or whatever they are.
Seems like we're having a decent science and conversation.
Well, it's more like kind of like the philosophy around the implications of this. But the same thing is that the foundation is there within the genetic information from the earlier life forms compared to the letters of the alphabet found in green eggs and ham, and that enough errors over time could produce something larger, and like a larger grouping of them with new information within it. You can end up with something like the Bible. That could follow from that. So because the new information is always going to be built on the foundations that were there before, and you can end up with something completely different.
I would have to say that, what you're talking about, especially in regards to mutations, they're not genetic script writers. I mean, they're merely typographic alterations in the genetic script that has already been written. In the biblical model, that genetic script's already been written. And now we're just seeing genetic entropy at work. We're not seeing, because molecules to man evolution, it's going to require phenomenal expansion of genetic information. It would take thousands of mutations adding novel information to change even the simplest of cells into invertebrates, vertebrates, and then obviously mankind. And you can believe in that all you want. You have the right to your own religion, but you've left empirical, observational, operational science, and you've gone into your religion, because we don't see that.
No,
we don't see
the
novel information.
But we do see that. I mean, you keep on saying that the mechanism that is proposed that adds this new information,
gene duplication,
is gene duplication and gene mutation.
Yeah.
That's what's proposed out there, and you are creating a standard. For no reason at all. You are saying that no, that is not good enough.
Okay, what would you say is your if you had to choose one, your best proof for large scale evolution? What would it be? Like, would it be phylogenetic systematics? Like R and Ra states, or would it just be similarities? Would it be junk DNA? Would it be pseudogenes? Like, what is your number one go-to evidence for evolution?
Sorry, my number one go-to evidence for evolution.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that like most things in science, you don't point to one thing and you say, "Hey, look at this. This proves this entirely like all-inclusive theory that pretty much most of biology is based on." You can go to every single individual factor within it. From like the geological things, taking a look at the fossil fossils, the fossil layers. We do see them. You can take a look at things like genetics. You can take a look at you want to go to like pseudogenes. You can talk about my favorite Catholic biologist in the community. Talks about the gulo pseudogene, which I think is absolutely amazing evidence to show at least common ancestry with other primates. This is.
If I may, but if that junk.
Can I interject at some point?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot. There's other people here. I just want to say one thing about the pseudogenes. What if that junk DNA? What if, because if you know anything about the obviously the Genome Project, I think Dr. Francis Collins kind of headed that. It's really showing that a lot of that junk DNA is not junk after all. And we're actually going towards a fully functional genome. And that's exactly what we'd predict in the creation model, because that junk DNA is suddenly not as useless as we thought. Because picture a kid. If you put a kid in front of, say, a car, put up the hood, and you say, hey, pick out anything here that you believe is useless, that's pseudo, that's, you know, junk, that kid's going to start pulling things out left and right. But the thing is, that's not based on certain things in that, you know, car, in that engine, in the hood, being actual useless or junk. That's the fact that that kid is ignorant of the function of it. And that's why vestigial organs, 100 years ago, they had what, 140 vestigial organs? Now, arguably a few that, you know, we can sit here and argue over. I mean, that's just ignorance. So how